Oh my God. We are
Good.
live.
We are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to episode 6 in season 2 of How to Thrive as a Human in an AI World. I'm Stephanie Barnes, and this is.
Timo Routarinne. I'm currently at Finland and it's in the afternoon, like 3:30 p.m. And it's half cloudy, not raining, which I'm happy for. And this has been like one of the coolest corners in Europe this last few weeks. I'm so bummed to hear all about the heat waves in Europe. That's not bad.
Oh, did you miss the heat wave there a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, there was like really hot and humid in Europe like for
Yeah,
weeks
yeah,
for a
yeah,
long time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's hot and humid here in Canada where I am. And it's 8:31, so in the morning. So yeah, it's and cool and well, not cool. It's hot and humid, but overcast, at least at the moment. So yeah, same weather from that perspective. Anyway, so here we are back. We missed last week because I was in Dublin at the Knowledge Summit Dublin, and which was good. And we'll bring some more. I'll bring some of those thoughts into our time together this morning. But Simo was launching. Is that the right word? That's not the right word.
Well,
Had opening night for his play. So all very human things last week. Talking to people and performing in your case. Well, in the people you were directing, you weren't performing, but yeah, very human things.
yeah.
So
Yeah, and that's really hard to picture a role for AI in performing art, like in theater pieces. It's really, of course, it's like I've seen stand-up comedy done with, with a doll with an AI wired, in like in having a live stand-up comedian and an AI doing
oh,
it together.
okay.
And that's fun and that's a curiosity. But if you think of like making a full play, it's that the whole thing of people stepping into their roles and interacting in an strongly embodied way with each others, and that's the pleasure for the audience to see that interaction, that kind of that verbal and especially nonverbal communication that that the human actors have together. That's something that's truly human, not for AI.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I heard somebody talking, and I don't think it was at the conference, but it was somewhere. I feel like it was a conversation I overheard somebody talking about like having robots be actors or dancers in productions, and and I kind of thought, I don't know that I would go and see that. That's not interesting to
I would
me.
say it will be a curiosity
Yeah,
for um, a long time probably, because
yeah.
it's like it's really it's so I don't know, it's hard to imagine that the robot could but eventually maybe.
I don't know that it's something that I would go and see, but other than it maybe once as a curiosity.
Maybe
But
the gladiators, will be back. Maybe they create like new genres of theater where, violence is very graphic and, will be like decapitated heads and, fake intestines and blood.
makes me think of that episode of Big Bang Theory where they build robots that fight or machines that fight, and the control them with a controller, moving it ahead, and they have
That's
pause and
there's a show like that,
yeah. Oh, is there? So yeah. See, I don't really watch TV. So
like Robot Wars or
yeah,
something.
yeah. So yeah, yeah. See, I don't find that interesting. So
Me either, but
yeah,
some do. Some people do.
yeah. Oh yeah, they do. So
I don't watch All Star Wrestling either.
no, neither do I. Not my thing. Yeah. Anyway, those talking about humans, and this was I want to say like that's one of the things that I noticed in the conference last week. I had last gone in 2024 in its first edition, and then I missed last year because of moving back to Canada and all that was going on, and so this was my second time there, and so the conference was about twice as big, which was nice. But the difference between 2 years ago and this year, for me, at least from my perspective, what I noticed was a lot more conversation around humans and keeping the AI in check. Not just blindly accepting. There was a lot less hype about all that it's going to do or can do, and much more I would say maybe measured or rational, less hype. It's still there, but there's more acceptance of it as that it's just a tool, and that humans are important, and a lot of discussion certainly around how to be more human and keep the networking. I think that's one of the draws of this particular conference is it is more about knowledge sharing and connection and relationship building, and it was so nice to see people that I either hadn't seen for a couple of years because of moving back to Canada, or people that I had just not ever met before because we were never in the same place before. So, I met another Canadian, so, or two maybe, some folks from the US that were there, but people that I had been connected to on LinkedIn for ages, and not ever met. There was one guy I'm a bit embarrassed to say. I'm not going to say names, but we had talked quite a bit online, and then I met him and didn't recognize him. So it was, that was nice. And now, as soon as he said his name, I'm like, oh, I know who you are. But yeah, there were some of those that partly people don't look like their pictures, right? But
Well, yeah, and one of the surprises that is not conveyed here is the height.
yes, yeah, we talked about that,
Mm.
the height, and yeah, so taller or shorter. Um, I
Because
remember,
here we kind of look the same height or same size
yeah,
easily.
yeah, yeah. I remember when I was at HP a long time ago, and we didn't do video then. This is the late 90s, early 2000s, right? There's no video Zoom calls, it's just teleconferences. And I was met one of my colleagues in person at some point in a face-to-face meeting. We'd all come together, and he comes up to me, shakes my hand, he says, oh, I thought you were taller.
Yeah, that's what people hear when they meet live after
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
doing.
yeah, nobody ever says, oh, I thought you were shorter, right?
Yeah, so do people look taller in in video? I don't know.
Or you get a sense of, they seem particularly confident or authoritative or leadership like, and so you attribute those characteristics then to that person, because leaders are tall, right? Leaders aren't short. Leaders are
Well,
tall.
yeah, and that I think there's some research on that if they are like if there are applicants for leadership work, probably the taller one gets elected.
Yeah, there's research on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a great equalizer, the being online in that sense.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
actually, I asked Claude that what should we talk about, and he suggested something about, like, which is my specialty. It's like the influence or power issues between in human interaction, like the status behavior, like how does AI fit into that framework. But before, maybe we go into that or not, but Andrew threw a question here or reflection here, like
Yeah.
like are you your true human self online? What do you think, Stephanie? Are you?
I think that there's some truth in that. I think of the keyboard warriors, saying things that they would never, they hide behind anonymity, and and
Mm.
because if people knew, if they were saying that to people live, there's a
Yeah, I think,
filter, you
yeah,
know.
there's
Uh,
a great difference. Are you asynchronically online or synchronically? If you are actually, like we are here, like this is live and we are online, or are we just, are we just writing or sending messages, or asynchronic is then you can hide actually
yeah,
your true self
yeah,
a lot.
yeah,
Oh, so Andrew was
yeah.
in the Knowledge Summit and
Yes.
over the idea of tall online presence. Well, so for some people that's true, like it's their true self, and for some people it's not. So
Yeah, yeah,
what can
yeah,
I say?
yeah.
I mean, being tall or not.
Yeah, 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 I didn't hear that, but I met Andrew there. That was the first time Andrew and I had met in person. Um,
Great.
so it was nice. It was good. So, um,
I
yeah,
think, I think people, because it's if I think of interaction online, I would say intimacy and authenticity is really possible here online too. And
oh,
for
I think
some
so.
people, it's easier online because it's like, for example, if you belong to a group of people where straight eye contact is kind of too intimidating, that kind of stops you from intimate encounters with other people, and you can't face the stare, you have to, yeah, if it causes you like difficulties,
Mhm.
then online might be easier because you cannot have straight eye contact here, but still you can see facial expressions, and you can kind of like be more, because if you sit on a round table live, you have to look sideways to see other people, or if you sit in an audience of people, you have to look back if you want to see their faces. But
Yeah,
here we are kind of like on the flat screen, all faces, we
yeah,
face each other's. So I think it's different in many ways, but it's hard to say if it's less true or more true, or better or worse.
yeah, yeah. It's different. I think of difficult conversations that I've had with people, where we've had to clear the air about something, some difference of opinions. And those, I think for me, the conversations were easier in person, but not sitting across from them, sitting beside them, or walking beside them. So we're not, it's not confrontational in that face to face way. It's, we're here, we can see each other, we can sense each other's, we can see some of the body language, But it's yeah, it's easier for me. It was easier to have the conversation that way. Um,
Mm.
and as much as I like remote work, and have done remote work for a long time now, like way before the pandemic, for sure. Um, Although it certainly has increased since the pandemic. One of the things I enjoyed about the conference last week was seeing people in person and being able to give them a hug,
Mm.
or pat them on the back, or say, just touch their arm to get their attention.
Yeah.
That physicality.
Yeah.
So to go from living alone, you know, and working remotely, and not really seeing people that I know on a regular basis, to have a bunch of people around that I know. Of the 250, I probably know to some degree half of them, or certainly a third of them, I'm connected to on LinkedIn, and have probably met before at some point. It was nice to see them. So I honestly feel like I didn't meet enough new people, because there were so many people that I wanted to renew the connection with, that I didn't talk. I ran out of time to meet new people,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. But
It totally does. In my experience in applied improvisation network conferences is exactly the same. The as years go by, when you are kind of the one of the old guys, like the experienced guys who have visited the conference like often enough, then you just reconnect with friends, and
yeah,
it's hard to meet new people. It's harder and harder.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess I'm one of the old guys now.
Yeah, you are one of the experienced
Yeah,
the givers.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So yeah, it was, yeah. But that was one of the things that was found encouraging about the conference, was this shift away from so much talk of the technology itself, and much more shift towards people and humans, and and away from the tech. So yeah, it gave me some hope that maybe people might be interested in the kind of things that you and I do, which is people centered, and helping with organizational culture and creativity and innovation, and yeah, looking at things differently. So yeah, we'll see where things are next year when I go.
I'm happy to hear that the focus of was on people, because it's like that's, I think, where it should be. And also like some other things, because it's like I actually had a really brief conversation with Claude about what should we talk about this episode. And one of the questions he threw at me was actually it was for you, Stephanie. And the question is, if culture predicts AI success twice as strongly as individual skill, why does every training budget target the individual even now? Is I
Because I
was
think the individual is easy. It's an
Yeah,
easy target.
yeah. So to thrive or just to survive is the question.
Yeah,
To
it's
to,
harder
to where,
to
where is the bar? Do you put it low, or do you raise the bar? Mm.
yeah, it's hard to, and intimidating, I'm going to say, to look at things from a group or from an organizational culture, and and even then, it is a group, but you have to start with the individual and changing in people's individual behaviors, and hopefully
That
that
is true.
snowballs.
To be able to change culture, you have to change. Yeah, but still, I think it's it's more common even in these days to train individuals in individual skill sets, like how to perform better as an individual
Yeah.
instead of how to perform better as a member of this culture or as a member of this team, this department, this organization.
Yeah, because everything's become so transactional.
Yeah.
We can measure the transaction. We can't.
Yeah.
We have a lot more difficulty measuring the relationship and the whole, the collective, the synergy of the whole. Because there's magic that happens in that collective space, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was also going to ask Andrew, was it, like I say, at the conference last week, Andrew, if you're still here with us, and I can't tell who's here and who's not. So hopefully you're still here, though. What did you think of the conference last week? Did you notice a shift from more technology to more human-centered discussions? I'll give you a minute to respond to that. But yeah, I think back to what we were saying about, I think it's harder to measure that collective. One of the things I was saying to you before we got started was I noticed a difference between North America and Europe. And having spent 9 years living in Berlin and coming back to Canada, certainly I noticed cultural things and here that were different than Europe, and things that I had noticed going over there in the first place. But going back, this was my first trip back to Europe since I left Berlin, and it was interesting to have that sense of that difference again, even in that short visit. The different energy. Probably people roll their eyes, but I'm going to say different energy, a different feel to it for me that I notice between North America and Europe. And this was something that it took me a while to figure out when I first moved to Berlin, but there's more of an energy of we're in this together somehow, and more variety, more tolerance for different opinions, different perspectives, than there is than I experience in North America. And it's there's more individualism here. Everybody's in it for themselves, where there's more sense of a collectiveness I find in Europe. And yeah, I'm generalizing and all of that, but still I notice a shift, and I notice Andrew responded. So
yeah, I'm happy to hear that because it's like, in my perspective, maybe the individual kind of the collective, the sense of like community has decreased, and individualism has increased, even here in Europe.
Yeah.
So I'm glad it's still kind of like the difference shows, but the direction is not good.
Yeah. I think social media has done some damage there. So Andrew said he stayed in the relational zone. Yeah, Andrew was in this fringe. He headed up the fringe area of the conference, so he was doing arts and creative stuff that tied into the CAM landscape work that he's done. So
that sounds good, Andrew.
Yeah, we carved potatoes as a representation of knowledge. So there were 6 of us, and I will admit to being late because I had a bunch of ideas for how to carve my potato and different utensils and things, carving tools. And it took me till the morning of the second day to finally land on how I wanted to carve my potato, what I wanted to do with my potato. And it came out of a conversation that Andrew actually sat down with me at breakfast, and and I think I had apologized because I was supposed to have the potato handed in by the day before, but I just hadn't landed on what I liked, which is why I hadn't executed anything. And then in this conversation with Andrew, he said something that closed a circuit in my brain, and I'm like, oh, I know what I'm going to do with my potato now. So I did something completely different, but this is part of the creative process. This is part of innovation. This is, so I ended up taking my potato, and I think I can say this now because it's all done and it's been used the way that it's going to be used. But I ended up not carving the potato at all. I got a paper plate and some cutlery and a napkin, and I put the potato on the plate with the cutlery, and this was my interpretation. So it became more of an installation piece rather than a carving. But this was knowledge, to me, this is how to use how to use a potato to represent knowledge. So, but it was quite interesting to see everybody else's representations. So, yeah.
I was just answering to Andrew, like the first one was training is the first step. Trying is the second before creating an ownership to the content. And I was just saying that in my trainings, we are first trying out different behaviors in a fictitious, exercise content or context. And the next step is doing learning labs, like live action role plays and simulations. And the third is trying out things as work situations. So it's much more hands-on, not lecturing, not like cognitive stuff, but it's like all like action learning.
Yeah. I like what Andrew said. There is no late. We're only in the now.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I am with that. I don't like to.
Oh, I like, and also I like what Andrew wrote, that it triggers the reflection that knowledge can be difficult to digest, because it's like Claude actually threw me this question to me like today. Knowledge management learned the hard way that capturing knowledge isn't the same as transferring it. Are we making the exact same mistake with AI?
Yeah, probably.
Probably no.
Yeah. Well, and this is what the thing with the potato, you can't eat the whole thing at once. You got to cut it up into manageable pieces.
Yes.
And there's different parts, and yeah, maybe you want to peel it first. One of the ideas I'd had was to peel it all in one long piece and use the peel as a representation of what gets captured, and the white inside part is the tacit knowledge. And yeah, this was one of the ideas, unexecuted ideas. But yeah, that's in the end, like I say, I liked and as soon as I had that idea, and this is what I like what Andrew said, there's no late, we're only in the now. I knew that was how I wanted to work with the potato as soon as it happened. There was no doubt. Whereas with all the other ideas, the other 3 or 4 ideas that I'd had, were all like, yeah, that's okay. It's not really right. There's an intuition, right? And that gut feel. And to come back to the theme of our our podcast here is how to thrive in an AI world. Listen to that intuition. Someone else got talking to me. We auctioned off some paintings to support the USAID knowledge loss, and they're trying to save it, retrieve it, and put it someplace that it can be, used, reused, and not lost. That it's available to future people. And so someone was talking to me about the paintings that I had contributed for this auction, and how did I know when it's done? It's an intuition. It's a it's done when I decide that it's done. Some of them are done much quicker than others. Some of them I think they're done, and then a month later I come back and actually finish them, which was the case with one of the paintings that I had taken with me to auction off. They it was I had thought it was done, but I wasn't, kind of like the potato. I thought it was done, but I wasn't really happy with it, but I didn't really know how to fix it. And then 3 weeks later, a month later, I'm like, oh, I know what I need to do to this, and totally change the painting. And then it was done. So like I said, much like the potato, with the ideas that I'd had before, and I took a whole bunch of stuff. I shouldn't say a whole bunch of stuff. I took several things from home because I thought I was going to use them in doing my potato sculpture carving, and then I ended up bringing it all home. I didn't use any of it. So yeah, it was but there was an intuition that says no, it's done, or no, it's not done, or no, that's not right. um, and listening to that intuition, I think is important, and is something that AI certainly doesn't have. I think listening to our intuition is something that we've been talked out of or educated out of.
Yeah. Yeah. We should, taught not to trust it.
Yeah.
Not to
Yeah, that trust is a big part of what you do, right?
Yeah, I was just thinking of my my last experience of kind of like leading a group of people in a project, in that theater project, and how I was like, almost, even though all these years, these decades of doing impro and following kind of that path, and that kind of like very like coaching, facilitating attitude of leading people, not telling them what to do, but a kind of like helping them figuring out like what they want to do, and how could that be profitable. So I was the actors were also, they were flabbergasted of my directing style, because I didn't have any plans for we had the text, but I didn't have any plans for like what kind of like interpretation we are making of the text, or how the roles should feel like or look like, any of that.
Yeah.
I was just being curious and watching them reading the text and then performing the text, and picking up things that I liked and asking for more of that, and building it from bits and pieces like pixels, the whole show. And it's a great show, actually. It succeeded very well, but more importantly than that, I think the process was really healing and empowering, and a great learning experience for the actors,
Nice.
because they found new things, new abilities, new ways of doing, and there were lots of talk that like half of them that were like straight, saying it to my face, that nobody has ever directed me like this, like in doing stuff in 20 years or more, or
Well,
like nobody has. For example, like one of the actors said that there's never been a director like you who actually directs everyone equally.
oh, interesting.
Usually they only direct the stars, like the leading roles.
Oh.
And I was like, what? Are you serious? And And then there was this one older actor who got trouble with, getting so nervous that he forgot his lines.
Oh,
Not like having memory trouble, like he remembered the lines, but he got so nervous often that he kind of like blacked out.
yeah.
And then I gave him tips about like how to manage the nervousness or stage fright, as if you want to call it like that.
Yeah.
And he said that nobody has ever helped me like you have with this. That nobody has ever offered me like advice or tips for that. And then, like general feedback of like how this style of directing was kind of like empowering and freeing and safe, and the group was like really psychologically safe and
I was gonna say.
very very courageous,
Yeah.
and they really really expanded their expressive limits
Yeah.
in many ways.
Nice.
And I'm just wondering, because it feels like, it's that this was rare in their perspective,
Yeah.
that what on earth is happening in the leadership, or if you think of directors and leaders, and like
Yeah.
what's going on. I mean, why? Because there's knowledge that supports this kind of style of working that I'm doing.
Yeah.
I've been like for 30 years training other people to
Yeah.
do that, and why is it still like an exception?
Yeah. Yeah. How did it feel to you? Did like they said the actor said it was rare, but does it feel weird or awkward or rare to you? I wouldn't think
It was not rare for. I think this is how this is how we should work.
yeah.
So it was. I was not trying new things. This is how I see that things get done with the group of people, is
Yeah.
to even though also in a work environment, not in theater
Yeah.
context.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think if you think of like Servient leadership, or any of these modern leadership models, where the leader is not telling you what to do, but helping you to figure out stuff and
Yeah.
perform better,
Yeah.
that's what we should be doing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's certainly the approach that I take. So in
Yeah,
my leadership is yeah, helping problem solve or remove roadblocks, and so that they can do the best that they can do. So,
exactly,
you know,
exactly.
and
So
yeah.
I'm just I might be a little bit frustrated. I was actually angry, frustrated, and sad hearing that from the actors.
Oh,
That I was kind of angry to the system,
yeah.
to the world, and like why people are not paying attention what's happening and learning
Yeah.
from.
Yeah. 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 Well, and I find the same thing with knowledge management, because I've worked in it for so long, and that we're just repeating the same mistakes.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Um, and it's like we like this is a mistake I made 25 years ago. Why are we still making the same mistakes? Aren't we knowledge
Scaling. Yeah.
professionals? Shouldn't we be learning from this stuff? So
No. It's easier to scale the mistakes. And let's harness AI of, helping us with that.
yes, scale the mistakes.
Well, sometimes it seems that the world works that way.
Oh, it absolutely does. It absolutely does. So, because
It's kind of like cheaper and easier.
well,
And nothing actually changes.
Yeah.
So, and that's one source of safety too, is that because change, even though it would be a good change, it would it's still it's genuine change is scary,
Oh, absolutely it is. Absolutely it
and
is.
we would need the safety net
Yeah.
from somewhere else to be able to go to that scary terrain that's not mapped yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that, to me, that safety is easy. It's instant, and it's easy to get from social settings, from psychological safety.
Yeah.
But with psychological safety, as we have talked earlier on these episodes, is that the problem with that is that people are only talking about psychological safety, not actually exercising, like hands on, how to actually create and sustain it.
Well, yeah, and you can talk about psychological safety, but actually feeling it and making sure that everyone in the group feels it with whatever baggage they are bringing with them from previous, experiences is a whole other thing.
It
I
is.
can I can tell you that it's safe to ask me a question or to say whatever you need to say and that I won't get mad. But if your previous experience is that, you're going to say something that you deem as horrible and the person is going to have a complete meltdown, there's a lot of baggage there to overcome, right?
There is. And also, there are so many embodied things that we can do to bypass those,
Yes.
packages.
Yeah.
We can kind of like, if you think that those packages are kind of rocks, under the water that we get keep bumping into,
Yeah.
then we just have to add the water. So, it, regardless of the packages we might carry,
Yeah.
we can still perform better because these people are so supportive. They are so safe, and I feel so safe with them. It's easier to kind of admit that, I know you said that I could say everything, straight, like candidly to
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
and still I feel like terrified because I have this thing I want to say to you, and my in all of the experiences in my history tell me not to do that, but now I'm doing it.
Yes.
So bear with me. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's what happens when we are in an embodied way. We are helping it. We are not so interested in what is the next clever line we are going to say ourselves, but
Yeah.
trying to support other people to give their best.
Yeah.
Then it might happen, but it seems like it's always like very cognitive and very we just talk about it, how why we should have it, and how profitable it would be to have it, but how to create it is kind of like missing.
It's not enough to talk about it. It
No,
has to be experienced. It has to be lived. It has to be
exactly.
felt.
I'm
So,
glad you like the scaling of mistakes, Andrew.
yeah. And looking at our time, it's about time to wrap up. So I think I'm going to invite some people over the next few weeks that I met at the conference and bring them into our discussion about how to thrive as a human in an AI world. So
Let's do that.
So I'll get that organized. And yeah, thank you everybody for coming along with us on this journey today. This has been How to Thrive as a Human in an AI World, episode 6 of season 2. And so we'll be back next week with episode 7. Have
Your math is incredible.
I have an undergrad in accounting.
Oh my goodness. Have a
Anyway,
really, really, really enjoyable rest of the week.
yes.
This and we hope to see you again soon
Yeah.
next week.